Thursdays. Launchpad is in this Thursday.
Greater Bemidji in a couple weeks.
There I go. I always love hearing from Launchpad. I know
They do cool stuff.
important people in our community.
Brian, who you got with you today?
Good morning. Thanks for
Good
having
morning.
us.
Sure.
Today I have Sarah Linda with me from the Northwest Minnesota Foundation. And Sarah is, are you a loan officer or what is your title now?
I'm a senior program manager.
That's right. And I work with Sarah very closely on a lot of finance-related projects in Bemidji. The Northwest Minnesota Foundation covers basically Bemidji, North and West, and everything. Yep, and everything up in the northwest corner. And they're very active in a lot of the economic development and community projects here in Bemidji.
Give us the Cliff Notes version of how the Northwest Minnesota Foundation started and what the mission is.
Great, thank you. Well, I'll start with the mission. In brief, the mission is to build better lives across Northwest Minnesota. So we serve the 2 tribal nations of Red Lake and White Earth and the 12 counties in the northwest corner of the state. And the foundation started out of some funds from the McKnight Foundation back in the 80s in response to the farm crisis. That actually started 6 Minnesota initiative funds around the state. So we're one of 6 MIF sisters.
Cool.
Always wondered.
Now you know.
Right.
Sure, you guys do such cool stuff and good work. You're like, how did this start in the middle of nowhere, northern Minnesota? How do the other agencies work together to help each other?
By other agencies, do you mean the other MIFs?
Yes.
Or, so we each have this assigned separate region. We do some partnership across the state with particular programs like the Initiator Fellows. 4 of the 6 MIFs are participating in that program. Otherwise, we really spend a lot of time focusing on our individual regions, but we will come together and exchange ideas and get support.
How has the Northwest Minnesota Foundation responded to business needs here after the storm?
Sure. Thank you for asking. I'm really glad to be here to talk with Brian about the emergency program that we set up, which we have called the Bemidji Business Rebuild. It's an emergency loan fund, and the foundation has chipped in a base amount along with Greater Bemidji to provide up to $10,000 emergency loans to small businesses located in the Bemidji area.
Is there any restriction as to what that money needs to go towards?
We really want it to go towards emergency needs related to the storm. So we heard from a lot of people that maybe just based on cash flow, there was an issue getting their insurance deductible pulled together.
There you go.
Right? Minor repairs, we know $10,000 is not going to put a roof back on a big building downtown Bemidji, but it can help offset some of those, the insurance deductibles and other small repairs. A few $1,000s for a small restaurant will replace inventory,
Right.
things like that.
Brian, you guys at Launchpad, Greater Bemidji, brought in Northwest Minnesota Foundation pretty shortly after the storm. How important was it to get a good sense of what the business community needed? And then from that point, how did you guys kind of roll out what you've done?
Yeah, well, it was super important, and we're really grateful that everybody came together so quickly. I think Dave Hingle sent out a text, and there were 4 or 5 organizations there, Greater Bemidji, the City of Bemidji, the Chamber of Commerce, the Northwest Minnesota Foundation, and Headwaters Regional Development. Everybody got together, I think the Monday or Tuesday after the storm, and we had the program stood up less than a week later. And so that was super important to have all the collaboration that we have, and we're super lucky to have that in Bemidji. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of communities have so many people that are willing to help, and I think we saw that with the number of chainsaws that were out front probably here and on Lake Ave and everywhere. But yeah, then hearing from businesses, we had a couple dozen businesses fill out a survey, tell us what they were needing. tell us the financial strains, the business impact. I mean, there were businesses that had a roof completely ripped off on Friday night and had it rebuilt, like Aircore Aviation. I know they had it rebuilt a couple days later, and there were businesses that couldn't do that and are still having water leak into their space. And so hearing about that through the survey and people calling the chamber or Greater Bemidji or the foundation to talk about that was super important, so that we could stand up a program that would help. Obviously, we can only do as much as we can do. It's up to people to tell us how we can help. So it's a lot. It's kind of funny, from the last time I was here about a month ago to now, a lot has changed. We were
Right.
talking with Mike Stitsworth and how to build innovative businesses, scalable businesses, talking about meats, and that was a lot of fun. And it's amazing what a month can do to change that. So,
How long is the program going to be available?
it's kind of open-ended right now until we stop getting applications or run out of money. And there's right now about $500,000 in that fund. And if you do need more than the $10,000, the Northwest Minnesota Foundation, Greater Bemidji, HRDC, we all have funds that can add additional resources that were existing before this and will exist long after. But so far we've gotten, I believe, about 15 applications, somewhere in there, 10 to 15, and we know that there's a lot more coming. So, yeah, it'll be up until we run out of money, probably.
What is it? People probably assume they don't qualify. Is that what keeps them from talking, inquiring?
I don't know. Some people.
I just thought there would be more than 15 by now.
Yeah, we kind of thought so too, but a lot of people are still figuring out what they need. I
Sure.
think some of the biggest problems is, getting an insurance adjuster to your business, and some people have said, I don't know exactly what it's going to cost. It's going to be somewhere between $40,000 and $100,000.
Right.
And so they want to figure that out, and that's been a huge bottleneck, is getting those insurance adjusters out and figuring out what it costs. So we know there's quite a few people in the community that are waiting on that before they apply.
Greater Bemidji is unique in what it does and, quite honestly, geographically where it is. Are there any other entities that you guys work with the Northwest Minnesota Foundation like Greater Bemidji?
Well, Greater Bemidji, of course, in the region of Bemidji is kind of the power player as far as economic development. Headwaters Regional Development Commission covers 5 counties in the kind of, it's hard to describe. It's this loop around right up to Lake of the Woods. And then there's another one that is related to, it's another RDC called Northwest Regional Development Commission. They handle the other 7 counties, equaling the 12 that we have. There's a lot of support out there coming through municipalities, right? I think there's a number of small loan funds that, most people don't know that they even exist, that might, there's a small pot of money available through some of those that are often managed on the city's behalf by people like Sean at Headwaters RDC.
How long have you been with the foundation?
Closing in on 3 years, actually.
What intrigued you about it?
The foundation is a certified community development financial institution, and they opened a position to kind of manage some emergency post-COVID loan funds that they received from the federal government back in 21. And they needed someone to run that, and so I applied for that job. It really just ticked all the boxes for me at the time as far as what the funds were used for, the compliance aspect of it. It really got to some of my strengths. But the fact that the foundation has grown and spread out its resources so much is another item that really intrigued me. We have a team. Not only do we have the philanthropy side of the organization, but we have a team that is doing homelessness response work. We have a child care development team. We have housing programs. We have youth mental health work going on. So the variety of the work across the region that we're doing, it's really impactful, and we are out there trying to help as much as we can.
For the 12 counties that you guys serve, I'm sure that there are a handful of far-reaching needs that are across the geographic board. I'm sure there are also some counties that have their own specific stuff that they're dealing with. That means you guys have to be pretty diverse too.
Yes, yes, and it is a challenge, right? Our office is based in Bemidji, but we have a lot of commitment all through the year where we're setting goals and tracking metrics to ensure that we're getting out there so that we can get to the far reaches of the region, whether that is up to Baudette or over to Hallock, for example.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and we actually also have some regional staff. We have a couple folks that reside in Roseau, so that's a nice connection. Another way that we are out and connecting people is because the Northwest Minnesota Foundation is the host of the Small Business Development Center. So the SBDC provides services free of charge to entrepreneurs and small business owners. All you got to do is register on the website. And the SBDC has contracts with consultants across the region. So that's another way that we are able to support various, not only entrepreneurs, but other efforts across the region.
You guys do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Just have to apply yourself and reach out and obtain those resources.
Apply yourself and apply.
Right.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, how can people do that?
Yeah, if you want to apply for the storm-related Bemidji Business Rebuild program, you can find that on Greater Bemidji's social media or greaterbemidji.com. And you can also contact me about it. My email is on launchpadbemidji.com. It's all over the foundation's promotions right now. Is it on your website?
It's on
Jayla?
our Facebook. There's
It's on
a
the
thread on the
Facebook?
Facebook.
Okay. And that's just Northwest Minnesota Foundation Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, so if you want to do that, you can apply on, I think Facebook is probably going to be the easiest place to find it, or reach out to me or Dave from the Greater Bemidji website.
Apply, people.
Yeah.
Please.
Take advantage.
Please do.
People working hard for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.